live. Good evening, beautiful people, whoever you are, wherever you are. First of all, this is about poetry. It's a live reading of poetry, which I have written in the last couple of weeks. This poetry reading has a history. It's a continuation, which has been going just over 2 years on a bi-weekly basis. And the work that I read is unpublished, but there is still a tremendous amount of published work which is available on Amazon. You just have to type in the title New Millennium Poetry. New Millennium Poetry. There are 3 volumes, and my name is Liam Kennedy. Yeah. So I use this platform, this forum, because my listeners, Carol, thank you, lovely to have you back, believe in the beauty and the richness and the depth of the word, the spoken word and the written word. And it's with these words that we give our lives, that we give our biographies, that we give meaning to everything that happens to us. And with the poetry that I write, it is my intention to seek for answers to those subtle and invisible questions which we all have, and deep within our souls, that we all strive to answer in some particular way or another. And it's my hope, it's also my deep intention, that by listening to this poetry, it will awaken a spark, a thought, an idea in your own mind. Good evening, Leah. Lovely. Welcome to the poetry evening on a Sunday evening, bi-weekly. As I said, my name is Liam Kennedy. I'm contacting you from a little town in northern Germany called Eckernförde. It's been a beautiful, beautiful sunny day, and I've been out on my little sailing boat all afternoon, and I'm back to read you some interesting, inspiring, beautiful poetry, which has come from the feather of my thoughts and my ideas, and I'm blessed and grateful to be able to share it with you. So, the first poem this evening, interestingly enough, is For Whom. It's called For Whom. And of course, the poetry For Whom is this poetry meant? It's meant for you as a listener. But if you listen carefully, see what sparks in your own thoughts and your ideas. As I said, poetry is something a little bit different to listening to a musical presentation, where you just allow the music to wash over you. Here it's something a little bit deeper and more profound. So switch off any distractions which you have around you, any music. Make yourself comfortable in a chair or on the sofa. Close your eyes if it's easier for you to concentrate. And the idea here is to listen deeply, to listen sensitively, to allow the music and the melody of the words to create the imagination, to create pictures within your imagination, because it's about your listening, which is really important. That's what these readings are about. Not about me wanting to present the poetry, but it's for you to listen carefully and see if there's something that you hear which you find interesting, that you find amazing, and which inspires you to develop your own ideas a little bit further about life. So, enough said. For whom? In the distance between holding on to, it's in the moment of letting go. You call out, fly, show me, God, how you dive between omega and infinity. You alone can comprehend this life's grasp, how to move in peaceful ways at last, where life lived in joy reiterates the call to gratitude. It's in the distance between holding on to, it's in the moment of letting go we cry out, I commend my soul to thee. Then fly to free, immersed in one oceanic energy, built upon this plinth, life unfolds, untold, manifold in forms anew. The baby cries to drink. A glass cracks in the sink. A step is taken on the moon. For whom? I ask. For whom? For whom, I ask, for whom? A fundamental question about what this life is actually all about. And it's in the distance between holding on to life. It's in that moment of letting go of life. You call out, fly, show me, God, how you dive between omega and infinity. So it's a question, a very deep question, that which we will all face, for at some moment we also will move beyond the threshold of this life and meet our Maker in another. And in preparation for that moment, we grasp these deep questions in our own soul and find answers which enrich the moment of where we are, not leaving us lost and lonely, but feeling us profoundly integrated within the magical manifoldness of life itself. Something you'll notice throughout all of the poetry, and I've come to realize, is that the day-to-day in which we live and move and operate, to get deeper, to understand where and why, we need to step back from the immediacy of what our senses give to us through seeing and hearing. And we need to find those quiet spaces, those very deep places in our own souls. And to get there, There are different ways, but one simple method is meditation. God's tears. God's tears. Leah, God's tears is the next poem. In that far-off garden, God whispered to a rose, its waking petals primed to life, sung in colors to behold. Rarest, fairest, handsome, perfume dancing from the bud. Thorns tore that skin of beauty. A tear fell into the mud. The rose in wonder answered, my flowers of perfection are here for all to love. Yet God now gave me thorns, and these came from above. So the pain we sometimes suffer, the lonely fear in me, share a rose, for it's a symbol of love, hope, care, and fraternity. The thorn is God's reminder we never are forlorn. The rose, my gift of truth, to brighten every morn. So the beauty of the rose, the rarest, fairest, handsome. The rose itself tore that skin of beauty, tore the skin of God, and a tear fell from that face into the mud. The pain we sometimes suffer, the lonely fear in me, so share a rose, for it's a symbol, love, care, and fraternity. Yeah, so when we have our tears and when we feel lonely and forlorn, remember, always remember, that these are your emotions which have been experienced and shared by no one less than God himself. But they are there for a reason. And the reason is always symbolic. It shows you something about who you are and who you still can become, and most important, where we all come from. Hidden. Here's another poem where I mention God. I don't always include God as a symbol in the poetry that I write, but of course, when we are touching on these questions, who else is our eternal reference point for understanding our own humanity? The reference point we have in understanding who we are is the infinity, the magnificence and magnitude of what God actually represents as an idea which lives in all of us, and from which, when we reach down into the depths of who we are and we take the time to find quietude, that these answers rise up within your own imagination. And it's from this source that I write these words. And this next poem is called Hidden. It's called hidden. The growing blossom contains the flood of coming colors within its buds, while its God's firm hold as this unfolds, which reveals the form to the rose. Behold, my fingers are benign things too, also grown in the image of who helps the leaves in green appear from mighty stems which seem austere. It's in the peace of wonder free we watch the rose, we catch the glow, we feel the joy, we touch the bud, we turn to love. We turn to love. We turn to love because love is the very energy which fills us day after day with joy, with happiness, with health, and with insight. And where does this love come from? It comes from deep within us as individuals. We experience it with the children that we care for, that we bring into the world, that we chaperone into life. How strong that love can be and can bond and can fill us with all the things which are good about living and life. But your children will grow and they will leave you. They will move on their own path and create their own future. And it's in the quiet moment when we are left alone, we realize that it is still the love to oneself, that we are responsible for loving ourselves, for loving our bodies, for loving our thoughts, and for loving our feelings, and for caring. For when we love, we care. And when we care, we grow. And when we grow, we feel gratitude. So be grateful for who you are, for whoever you are. You are very beautiful and very, very special. It's in the peace of wonder free we watch the rose. We catch the glow, we feel the joy. We touch the bud. We turn to love. This next poem, Samantha Smith. Welcome. Welcome. Thank you, Beatrice. This next poem is called The Sailor. And when you listen, it's a poem which will carry you with all of its imagery. It's a very visual and very plastic, panoramic poem, something quite different from what you've just been listening to now. The Sailor. Oh, the sea, the sky, the deep blue in me. The moving waves across the heavens I see. Let these sails full strain they take. The living wind in me awakes, draws me forward through the splash and the foam. A course is drawn on the charts to home. For it's here I've been with you before, a place of peace, a space called love. Across the threshold from whence we came, we stepped outside with arms outstretched. The joy of the seagull, high she swept. The call of the whale, from deep it cried. It's a magic life with all alive. The urchin scrabble to its spiral shell. The boom of surf on the shore as well reminds again of my chant this night. The sailor's life is a blessed trick. From the golden dawn to its setting fire, a life on the wing till the funeral pyre. So it's an ode to life, taking the metaphor of the sailor. The living wind in me awakes, draws me forth through the splash and the foam. A course is drawn on the chart to home. The chart to home. We are all sailors sailing across these days of life and nights of life on our way home to where we came from, right at the very beginning, before life began. A sailor's life is a blessed trick. From the golden dawn to its setting fire, life on the wing till the funeral pyre. The next poem is called Catharsis. Catharsis, yeah. And as we know, catharsis is something which we burn away, we take away, we get rid of that which is burdening us. We clean and we clear something which has burdened us in the past. But we'll let the poem speak for itself, and you see if there's anything in these words which resonates with who you are and where you are and what you're doing and the life that you find yourself in. After the realization comes the need to uncover. The deeper self ignites. I'm going to explain this as I move forward through the poem, and then I'm going to read the whole thing again, but I'm going to explain it as we move forward. After the realization comes a need to uncover. The deeper self ignites. So, the realization being a powerful thought, a real strong moment of self-recognition, of self-realization. After that moment comes a need to uncover. Comes a need to uncover. The deeper self ignites. So when we have a moment of realization, we have a moment of resonance, something deep within you awakes. And believe me, this is a very significant moment for yourself. Don't lose it. Let it slip away. Grasp it, keep it, and think about it again and again. To know more, to see more, to understand more. This catharsis is a journey of intent. This catharsis is a journey of intent. So in the awakening, in this moment, the self ignites. There is an intention which we have, an intention to find out what it's about. Incinerating all but the truth. So when it's the truth that you're looking for, it's all of the extra unnecessary stuff which will just fall away. You'll let go of. It's unessential. What's essential is answering something which has deeply to do with who we are. Incinerating all but the truth, the grail, your pure self, the ever-shining alchemical gold. Me, free of personality, returns to this cosmic imagination. The ever-surging wave of an endless ocean, of which we are its constituent atoms. Its magnificent energy, simply all, becomes a conscious part from which we reintegrate the love we are and with which I again will reunite. So those are very deep and powerful words. So let me read them again. Yeah, everything's cool, everybody. Listen to the poetry. After the realization comes a need to uncover. The deeper self ignites. It ignites. It's a flame. It's an energy. It's a power to know more, see more, understand more. And this catharsis is a journey of intent. It's driven by the will to understand who we are and why we are here in this wonderful life that we're living. It will incinerate all but the truth, the grail, your pure self, the ever-shining alchemical gold, me, free of personality. So it's something that ignites in us, which is beyond what we recognize and define as our personality. It's something eternal. It is something which is spiritual, which belongs to the great cosmos of God, from whence we've come. We return to this cosmic imagination, an ever-surging wave in an endless ocean, an ever-surging wave in an endless ocean of which we are its constituent atoms. All of us are part of this, united, belong with one another in an endless ocean. Its magnificent energy, simply all, becomes a conscious part from which we reintegrate. And listen, the love. We integrate, we reintegrate with the great cosmic ocean of love. We are love, and with which I again will reunite. So, the next poem is very direct. It was written quite a long time ago, and it's called If I Was to Die. If I Was to Die. So, of course, this is one of the most existential questions that we all carry. And if I was to die, what's it all about? What will happen? And in approaching this powerful question, this poem, I wrote this poem several years ago. But of course it applies to us all, you know. It applies to everyone. If you were to die, if I was to die, if someone that we love has passed, if I was to die, who would shed those tears that I should cry? Who would laugh and carefree sing an ode to life that happiness brings? Who would greet each morn with grace and ring to fest. Fill the cup, drain the horn, make the mark, light the spark, turn the page, calm the rage. Yet I am here, not forlorn. Warming skin, the ray is born, the mystery of now, how we each reach into the fall, fulfill the list of do and done each day, race from A to B and back, complete the plan, stay on track. Now let those hamsters spin in glee. We don't belong in carousels ourselves. We question, answer, ask and do. We grow, feel, find and flow. We know there is more, 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 more. So open the door of today and say, sad I would cry if I was to die. So there the poem. Let's have a look. The last poem this evening that I'm going to read to you is a ballad. Again, something completely different. And after which, please don't go, because the most interesting part of the evening comes. I'm going to read a poem that you choose for you particularly. So stay with me for another couple of minutes, about another 10 minutes, and then we'll be finished. So before we move on, a ballad. Come back home. Also written a while ago. Come back home. Come back home, come back and see all the flowers, the lilies and me. Come back soon here to the sea, come watch the waves breaking on the far side of the lea. Come walk again slowly by the grey, wide strand. This heart waits lonesome, I still long for thy hand. Come back home where we frolicked, where we laughed the day long. All night we made music, I sang thee a song of swallows swooping, of wind in the trees, of splashing bright rivers, of love under the eaves. We laced the fresh morning, caught stars on a string, filled the horn slowly, love's message I bring. Return soon, my darling, for far away beats your heart. Let us dance in the moonlight, let us make a new start. Write the new chapter, spin leaves in the air, and wake every morning to this love we do share. So come back home. Well, everyone, I'd love you to take the opportunity. I'm going to read from volume number 3 of New Millennium Poetry. Altogether, we have 211 pages, and on each one of these pages is a poem. So use your intuition. Just pull a number out of your awareness, and I will write that number down and go to the page and read the poem that you have chosen. And it's wonderful because so often these poems connect with something which is happening in your life. So look closely for that resonance. Beatrice, number 14, page number 14. Okay, lucky 14. Let's have a look, see what there is. I fall so deep. As you can see, these books have been beautifully published. There's a watermark. You can see the watermark of the Buddha. The Buddha with the headphones, the butterflies, the turquoise colors. I fall so deep. I fall so deep, I fall and find you in my sleep. Pull you close and touch the softness we miss so much. Of close, of warm, of lips and legs, of intense want, of intense need, of intense burning beads of sweat. Your fingers stroke my hard, your soft. My mouth, my strong, wanting love, intense the need. Can this be wrong? You take it all, you take me too. You take and groan and hold me deep this night, caught in pleasure, caught in flight. Fantasy holds us locked in love, fills us, makes us see above the busy day by day. Could we, would we, should we find a way of now, of living with the how, the moments of just why we met, we found, we laughed, we loved, we transformed. In my deep, I fall and find you fast asleep. My dream a queen whom touch awoke. A whisper as she gently spoke, be mine, be with me. Be the time of joy we both have left. We both grow fonder, we both hold hands, we both feel wonder. You ask who is mine? It's you. It's wonderfully new. Wow, what a beautiful poem. What a beautiful way of expressing the tenderness which unites and binds us in our partners, in our partnerships. Carol, number 18, thank you. Thank you very much. Number 18, let's have a look. The poems in this book are not just randomly published, but they have been sorted into categories. Thank you, Beatrice. Thank you. It really is. It's a beautiful poem. Just to give you an idea, you know, as if you had a book like this, you could just, and you want to read a poem, there are emotional poems, there are fun poems. I'm just looking at the index. There are inspirational poems, there are love poems, nature poems, spiritual poems. Yeah? So, Carol, you have chosen a poem called Joy on page number 18. So listen up and let's see what this little poem has to say about you. Joy. When it's your choice, make it joy. Make the decision for happiness. Make the wish fun. It's my imperative, happiness. It's your prerogative, happiness. It's our commandment, happiness. We are its source, fountain and spring. Dance in the rain, smile in spite of the dilemma. Laugh, for its joy is infectious. Laugh, for its joy, for it's a joyous infection. We are its source, joy, fountain and spring, joy. Dance in the rain, smile in spite of the dilemma. Laugh, for it's a joyous infection. So let your days and your coming week be infected with joy and with laughter, for it's an imperative. Happiness is an imperative. It's a prerogative. Happiness is a prerogative. And happiness is a commandment. It's your commandment to be happy with yourself more than with anyone else in your life. But be happy with yourself. So, again, anyone else like to leave me a page number? If not, to close the evening, I will read you a last poem, and I will choose a poem intuitively for those of you who are listening right now. Again, here we are, we're on page 146. Page 146. Thank you, Carol. And this poem is called Shuffling Feet. So, it's intuitive, it has something to do with me, and it has something to do with you. So, I'm happy to share it with you. In the third volume of New Millennium Poetry, available on Amazon. Autumn forest, the cold wind free. Trees grow gold. Let me repeat. Autumn forest, the cold wind free. Trees throw gold and leaf to me. The trunks stretched tall, trying touch the sky. I walking mind my step. My eye spies the sparrow quick, flying home to nest. The bushy squirrel's tail leaps from branch to quest. The acorn chestnut scattered wide, scattered free, to gather quick and then to hide. For winter's bleak frost storm soon breaks, the joy which autumn here creates. Now in this all, I'm free to treat my whistle, my tune, to the shuffle of feet. So there you are, whistling away, walking through an autumn forest, watching a squirrel collecting nuts, just living in the joyful moment. So that's it, the poetry reading. Namaste, God bless, stay healthy, stay happy, and stay in contact with Facebook and Instagram, and with the good news that I now have accumulated enough work to bring out another 200-page volume of poetry. So that's a new project that I'm going to get cracking on. Otherwise, good night, everyone. Take care. Love you all. Thank you for being there. It's been a pleasure. God bless. Good night.